welcome to the Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse Shopping Network. Shipping Goblin Bob here is going to tell you all about our new Platinum Edition. It's my favorite.
Thanks, George. Friends, are you tired of putting a cat, a flask of poison, and a source of radiation into a sealed box and having to settle for a cat that's dead or alive? Well, Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse has the product for you. Introducing the Schrodinger's Cat Platinum Edition. With the Schrodinger's Platinum Box, you can have both versions of your pet at the same time. Free yourself from objective collapse and enjoy a cat that simultaneously exists in two decoherent realities. It's time for atomic indeterminacy to enter the macroscopic domain. It's time for Schrodinger's Cat Platinum Edition.
Yeah. She's totally dead. But totally alive.
Only from Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. Simultaneously available and sold out now.
And good evening, and welcome back. We've been gone for a couple of weeks, but we are back on. So welcome to our second session after session 0 of Starfinder. Welcome back to the Band of Badgers channel, as always. I'm GM Steve, and I'm going to be guiding this motley crew through the second session of the Fly Free or Die adventure path. We are joined this evening by a very special guest, MENGE, and I hope I've mispronounced that correctly, because I did ask before we went on pre-roll. He will be joining us tonight, playing a guest player, a guest character. So we'll be moving the party forwards from where we left them last time. I'll do a recap in a moment on that, but we'll go through the introductions first. So big thank you as always to Beetle and Grimm's for their continued support of our channel, which allows us to bring various shows such as Starfinder, obviously, but also Pathfinder, which we play on a Thursday evening, and of course our D&D 5e Avernus campaign that is run by DM Joe on a Saturday evening, and then of course you'll be recognising Will from the War Badger stream. Hello. On a Sunday afternoon. And then next week... He's
in space at the moment, because, you know...
He's in space at the moment,
He's away.
Yeah. I'm isolating in the ISS currently.
Yes. On your own, hopefully.
Yeah, this is what engineering actually looks like. This is behind the curtain.
This is the engine room.
Yeah. Here we have some buttons, and then over there some buttons, and the ceiling buttons. Floor, no buttons.
That'll be awkward.
But
Sunday, is it 1 o'clock now or 2 o'clock?
It's 1 till 3.
1 till 3, yeah. So that's the sorry woeful tale of 3. Although I now see you've got 4.
Yeah, we got Stato, also known as Chris, who occasionally streams from hospital.
Oh, okay.
Which is dedicated.
Yes, dedicated painter, obviously. And then on Monday we've got the return of not the Great British Brush Off, but the Great British Brush Off Specials episode, where we will be joined by Leia on Monday to do one of the sort of focused technique shows. I don't know if we've announced what the focused technique show is yet. Am I allowed to say? No. So tune in on Monday and watch our Twitter feed and Facebook feed for what we will be doing. I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be pretty good. I've been googling the images of the minis we're painting to try and make myself feel better. That they can actually look really good. I don't know whether they look really good after I attempt to do it, but we'll see. Thank you for the follow, Old Oak Tree. So yeah, thanks to Bean and Grim for allowing us to do all this, and of course Pathfinder, which is DM'd by Dave, he's entering the last chapter, chapter 6. So we're getting towards the end. Probably got about 4 or 5 episodes left on that one.
If you
I
make
think
it
I've
that
only probably got 4 or 5 episodes left in me.
far. Okay, so if we're still going at that point, it's going to be a TPK. Good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a subtle. Let's get a move on. I think.
Explore faster.
You can, of course, support us yourselves if you wish with your Amazon Prime. So with Amazon Prime, you can go on a Twitch, you can connect your Amazon Prime account, and you can sub absolutely free to the streamer of your choice. And of course, we would hope that would be us. Any little helps, and it will buy pizza or beer when we all go off to Games Expo in July. Fingers crossed that we can go to Games Expo in July, obviously.
Did you just ask people to buy us pizza and beer?
Yes, I did.
We're going to a game convention. Please buy us beer and pizza.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Most of the
Love
time, we
it.
ask for paints and minis or something like that helps us with the games. But okay, help us buy beer and pizza. We have a Badgers road trip coming up.
Yeah.
And we need beer and pizza.
Yeah.
We need petrol. We need masks and hand sanitizer.
So, yep, you can link your account. There are instructions on the internet, so I'm not going to go into how you do it because I can't remember. But it's fairly easy because I managed to do it. So I'm sure everyone else can manage to do it as well. You can also sign up to our Discord and stay up to date on what we're doing. So there'll be announcements on there on our upcoming streams. We are looking to try and use some of our feeds in upcoming shows. That I won't say too much about, but we are trying to increase our audience participation in some of our other shows. So either through Discord or through Twitter. So stay tuned for those. And what have I forgotten? Patreon as well. So we do have a Patreon, so you can support us through that way as well. And of course, we are sorry. I still can't hear you. YouTube. There we go. Yeah. So of course, the video that you're watching tonight, you can catch on our Twitch feed for the next 2 weeks through videos on demand. But after that, they disappear from Twitch, never to be seen again. Of course, we do download them and we do put them on YouTube, and you will find on there our back catalogue. Thank you, Cantina13, for the gifted subscription. That's very generous of you.
Thank you.
So you can, of course, find our old videos, our back catalogue of various different campaigns, all the Pathfinder stuff, all of the brush off, all of the Q&As, the Vason, everything is on YouTube. There will be a link popping up in chat because I've put it on a timer, so it will pop up periodically. Very appreciate if you can sub and obviously click on the bell, and that will alert you every time we upload any new videos. There is an ad box below me, roughly there, get the camera right there. Please stay tuned to that. You will see some discount codes for our various different other supporters, such as Dungeon Crate, which is on the screen now, Session Zero as well. But you will see many different discounts and various bits of information pop up that as stream goes on. So, I believe I've covered everything. What we'll do is a quick recap on where we left it, because like I say, we haven't been on for 2 weeks now. So where we left the party was on Akiton at Hive Market. So they found themselves there after picking up a consignment of yarrow berries. Transporting those yarrow berries very swiftly, I have to say, through the drift and arriving at Akiton in short order, only to find that the wholesaler they were supposed to deliver to had gone out of business and had been taken over by somebody else entirely, somebody called Ainsley, who, supported by her uncle, had taken over the wholesalers, but not taken over all the contracts. The party was offered much less credits, or many less credits than they were expecting to receive for this consignment of yarrow berries, and so they ended up short. They would be only able to pay one of their debtors, either the company they work for, Edgecore, who leased them their vessel, or the supplier of the yarrow berries, Alashunta, who was due to retire, and therefore potentially tugging on the heartstrings, or not, of our party to decide who they were going to be paying. They accepted the reduced offer, shall we say, from Ainsley, with the promise that there would be some more work coming their way. In particular, work that would involve shipping weapons to Voxa, recent sign of some hobgoblin invasion, hobgoblin army or faction called the Gideron Authority, who are attempting to take back many different planets in the Pact World locale that were found to have hobgoblin relics in the past. They were told to return to their vessel, return to orbit, and await further instructions. It's been 2 or 3 days since Ainsley has been in touch. They have returned to their vessel, they've been resting, they've been repairing, they've been relaxing as much as you can, whilst being in debt to several 100,000 credits. And we pick up the action with 2 things: a call from Tarika and the ping on the local radar of an approaching shuttle. What do you wish to do?
Probably should talk to Tarika.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, you connect the call. A worried-looking Banari appears on the screen, a familiar worried-looking Banari. Ah, Miss Omi, yes, some worrying news. I've just heard that the consignment was short.
Yes, we ran into some problems, shall we say.
What sort of problems? Were you delayed? Was there any damage? What happened?
Well, we contacted you about the wholesaler who we were meant to be selling to, saying that we couldn't find them. It seemed like they've been taken over. Rather a hostile takeover bid. And they bought the goods, but they weren't generally honouring contracts, so we did not get as much as we should have. Okay. I did my best to negotiate them up. They weren't even going to pay fees.
Okay, well, exactly how much did you get?
How much did we get? Because I did not write that key piece of information down.
You after fees, you got enough to pay the wholesaler. The supplier. You either have enough to pay the supplier, or you have enough to pay Edgecore. So it was 200,000 credits after fees had been paid.
Okay. But they were paying fees, weren't they?
They were paying fees. The total amount after they'd included the fees that they were paying.
Okay, cool.
I think you had a little over 200,000, about 240,000 credits in total. So
not a pound.
They paid the fees, which would have brought you up to 350, I think it was.
Cool. I relay this piece of information.
Well, that's most worrying. We either pay the supplier or we play Edgecore. I mean, I understand that Bruno was retiring.
No, this is his retirement fund.
But you do work for Edgecore. I mean, I work for Edgecore. I'm not entirely sure how that will go down if we can't pay them. I mean, they fund this whole venture. I mean, well, I guess it's your choice. It's your choice. But I'm glad I don't have to make it.
Yes, I don't think it's going to go down very well. We haven't quite made a final decision on that yet. But I really don't want them to come and take the ship away, because then we're never going to be able to pay them back. No. We're back where we started.
No, but they do have Well, they do have other schemes. I know that's happened in the past to other people. And actually saying this ping on the radar is getting louder and louder.
Mm.
And it's quite obvious that the shuttle that's approaching the ship is intending to dock. So,
Yeah.
Vec, is there anything you would like to do?
Can I scan the ship?
Yep, you can.
What sort of check would you like? What sort of check would you like? Computers or engineering?
Computers, please.
Computers, perfect. 23.
Okay, it's a standard low orbit shuttle that's used from planet to starships in orbit. There's nothing suspicious about it. It doesn't appear to be armed. It is displaying a beacon, and its communication systems appear to be in order, and you can in fact link with it if you wish.
Yes, please.
Okay. You establish communications. The computer pings to say that the lines have been opened and the ping has been accepted.
So we're open comms. Hello, welcome aboard. You seem to have arrived safely. What's your purpose aboard?
You hear that coming from the speaker on the shuttle you're currently occupying, Kajimi.
Reach up, open the communications back. May your water be pure and plentiful. I was informed that we are supposed to meet you here at this time for a mutual benefit. I believe we have a friend in common.
Oh, excellent.
Are you prepared for this meeting, or did I arrive at a bad time?
I quickly mute my microphone and relay all that information over to Misomi and EMA.
I do not mute my microphone, and you hear a.
Yeah, you were of course expecting a colleague of Ainsley's to be in touch about the next possible contract. So you assume that the mutual friend that the voice at the shuttle refers to is in fact Ainsley, although they haven't actually named them. When you relay this information, Vec, to Masomi and EMA, Tariq obviously overhears because the open comm channel is still through to Absalom Station. What's that? Yeah, a mutual friend. Have you found another shipment that I'm not aware of?
There's possibilities, shall we say?
Okay. Well, this could be interesting. Would you like to share, or should we make contact later, as soon as you have a guest?
Let's make contact later. Let's not keep the guest waiting.
No, of course not. Of course not. This is good news, though. I will speak to management and inform them that although the shipment may have been short and that the funds may be light, you're still yet to decide who you're going to pay, obviously. But that you may have been sourcing your own work. This is good news. I like this. I'll relay this. This is good initiative. Tariq out. And with that, she ends the communication.
Mm-hmm. Well, that didn't go quite as badly as I thought it might.
Is my comm link still open through all of
that? If Vec hasn't muted the microphone, yes.
You've got some hold music.
I'll sit there and bop along with it.
But every now and again, it tells you that your communication is important to us. A representative will be with you as soon as possible. But there's just a little bit of silence beforehand, so you feel that someone's answered, but they actually haven't.
Is it just Vec pressing the button and saying that every 30 seconds?
That button there, that one.
Okay, the shuttle is now close enough to dock. It engages the airlocks. You now have a choice. Do you let the occupant aboard, or do you leave them on the shuttle?
When we scanned it, did we confirm that there's no transmittable diseases
You
on
would have to
board?
do that now if you want to cycle some of the shuttle's atmosphere through the airlock sensors. You can do that.
Yeah. Would you like a life science check?
Yes,
Or
please.
a phys- that would be 23.
There is nothing untoward about any of this. There is no there's no transmissible diseases. There's no poisons or toxins. It's fine.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, then, shall we let them aboard and meet them in the docking bay?
Good plan.
I'm going to leave my robot behind because he's slightly intimidating. But he's just going to be waiting around the corner.
Okay. You make your way to the docking bay, you cycle the airlock, and standing within is a large four-armed creature. A familiar sight when dealing with Ainsley. You've seen these sort of four-armed creatures before, though this one is slightly different. It's not Shobad. This is a Kasatha, another race of four-armed creatures. Kajimi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Step forward and do several gestures of once of greetings in the tradition of the Kasatha people. Suns shine bright. I am Kajimi, dressed in spacer fare of that would be blends in with whoever this area of the Pact Worlds. You can see two different pistols on his. You think it's his, but you're not entirely sure. On hips, and then some sort of blade strapped to his back. He's a bulky fellow for the Kasoth, very strong looking, and has 4 different arms that are constantly moving about, even when 2 of them are reached out to you. I am Kajimi. Ainsley said to meet you here and that you would provide escort and transport for a consignment. Did I understand correctly?
You did, yes. Yes,
I
it's
am
good.
glad.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you, Kajimi. Have you had to travel far?
Not far at all. I was opportunely disposed for this meeting. I'm sorry, what is your designation?
Miss Omi.
May your water be pure.
I believe you've already spoken with Vec, who's our engineer.
I did. He has excellent taste in hold music.
It's custom picked.
Have you put Britney Spears back on there again?
Yes.
I thought the bluegrass cover was imaginative.
I've now got a mental image of Toxic but bluegrass.
Yes,
Well,
the banjo really makes a difference.
Oh, you haven't shared this with me, Vec. I'm most disappointed.
If you try and communicate later on, I'll play it for you. It's
Okay.
only recorded down the phone.
So, time is of the essence on this mission. We are delivering a consignment of value that has greater value the sooner it arrives. Are you prepared to travel?
We are indeed. We've been waiting for you.
Excellent. We must first head to the planet of Apostai. There we will meet with a contact of Ainsley who will provide us with a consignment. And from there, I will direct you to your next location for where we will deliver this. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we have experience with time-sensitive missions.
We do indeed. How time sensitive is time sensitive? We're talking hours, days.
The longer we dally, the more deaths there are.
Good to know. Good to know. Vec, do you know where Apostia is?
Uh,
Do you have
no,
the
but
coordinates?
we can find. Do you have coordinates?
I do.
Oh, excellent.
Is there some sort of I'm gonna have to go into Star Wars speak here. Some sort of correspondence ship that I can hand them that would have the coordinates.
Yeah, there's a communicator, personal communicator. You have the coordinates and the address of Night Arch on Apostate. You can take that to the bridge. You can transmit it straight into the onboard computer. Vec will then, or Masomi will then, roll a piloting check and attempt to plot through the drift the quickest course. That will be somewhat random on how long it takes. You will have to travel for several days anyway. And once you get to Night Arch, Kajimi will reveal the place that you need to go, but the port that you need to get to is Night Arch on Apostate. There is, of course, another humanoid being seemingly haunting the vessel, an android of sorts, strangely wearing, I believe, a cowboy hat. Doesn't appear to have introduced himself or been introduced by the other two, but he wasn't there at the airlock, but he is in the crew quarters, shall we say, the main common area as you move between the cargo bay and the bridge.
This is EMA 02.
Have I seen these sort of things before, Steve?
You haven't really. You've seen androids before, but not one. I mean, the androids that you've seen normally do have synthetic skin. They are made to appear, at least semi-humanoid or human-looking. This isn't. This is a bare frame chassis. It's built seemingly for a singular purpose. It isn't interacting much, so it's different to other androids you would have encountered normally.
Okay. Do androids respond when you talk to them? I don't know what the customs are. Or are they part of the infrastructure?
Androids are common throughout the pack worlds. They are independent sentient beings. This one, it projects a little bit strange. There's something maybe off about it.
I'll nod in greeting and fold the fingers together, the four hands together with their fingers together in greeting in some sort of complex way that the Kasafa people do. May your water be pure.
There's no response.
I blink.
Sorry.
Turn back to Masomi.
You continue your journey to the bridge. You transmit the coordinates from your personal communications device. And Masomi or Vec, would you like to make me a piloting check, please, for your navigation?
Impressive ship you have here.
14.
Okay. Roll me a d6, please.
That's never a good response.
No, it's really not.
5. Might be good.
Are you pushing the buttons wrong?
It's the claws. Sorry, it's the claws.
You find Apostate. You plot against a local star system. You use the coordinates been supplied to you by Kajimi, and you believe you've found the quickest route. You fire up the drift engines. You leave Akiton orbit, and you begin your longer journey to Apostate. a journey that will unfortunately take you 7 days. So you have a little bit of downtime that you can use if you wish, if there is anything you would like to do. You can, of course, reach back out to Tarika if you wish. You have a decision to make on who you're going to pay anyway. You don't necessarily need to make that now, but it will need to be made at some point, and those funds will need to be transferred. So, is there anything that you would like to do specifically? Find out anything more about the mission you're currently on, or use any downtime during those 7 days?
So at the moment, is the money just resting in our account?
It is resting in your account, so to speak, yes.
Excellent. Having a nice rest.
Yep, good long rest.
Yeah, long rest. I haven't got anything that I need to do.
I think Masomi would like to find out a bit more about the mission from Kajimi, if she can.
Go ahead.
So Kajimi, how do you know Ainsley?
She is my employer.
Was it a mutual employment, or was it a little like our employment with them?
I don't know your employment with
I believe it was do this or we will. I don't know if it was quite kill, but certainly we'd be quite.
Oh. No.
It's not that kind of employment.
No, not like that.
Uh,
Not entirely.
Not entirely. Okay, well, slightly like that then.
She pays well.
Well, she mentioned quite a large sum of money, which is always good.
Her pockets are deep.
How deep?
6 feet, which is what she tells me when I ask that question.
Very wise woman.
In relation to your pocket depth, how long are your arms?
Thanks, that's a rude question.
Well, you could have deep pockets. If I had deep pockets, they'd be useless to me.
You do recall the figure was 1 million credits.
It was 1 million. That one I wrote down.
That's walking around money.
You know, Katini likes nuts and is constantly eating nuts.
So, can you tell us any more about this job? Apart from the longer it takes, the more people die?
Yeah. Question for question. I answer a question, you answer a question.
Sounds fair.
Look out, we're going to stick it to the hobos.
Why?
There's money.
Just money? There's nothing else? There's normally something else behind it.
Is it?
Normally it's politics or religion, but... Sorry?
That doesn't count as my question.
Damn it.
No. It's a little bit of chaos is good for the packed worlds. We don't want one side owning everything. That makes it hard for us to work the in-betweens. You work the in-betweens too, don't you?
I do now. But I would previously have been one of those that you've probably been railing against.
Well, I'm glad to meet you on this side.
Me too. It's very dull on the other side.
Very
dull.
I would imagine so. Although there is the random punishments.
Random punishments?
Oh, yeah.
Is this Ainsley or is this random punishments just generally?
Friends.
Sorry?
The Gadarin Authority. How do you think they keep them all in line? Strictly.
Steve, would I know anything about the Gadarin Authority? Just generally.
It might be a culture check, I think it is.
Culture,
Might
I
be
did that.
society. Let me check.
I believe I've got both of those things. Raspberry cack. Which one do you want? Culture or society?
Culture, please.
Culture. So that is 15.
You know about them from the news feeds more than knowing about them specifically. They
Yeah.
are a hobgoblin faction.
Mhm.
They believe in trying to reignite the previous empire, the previous hobgoblin empire. So they are actively seeking out other worlds within the pack systems and the near worlds
Yeah.
that are found to have hobgoblin relics, shrines, temples, or artifacts, which they then claim as their own as a way of taking back what the old empire lost when it fell. That is their sole political aim, is the reinstatement of the Hobgoblin Empire and its previous level of power.
Okay. So what kind of punishments do they do to keep them in line?
Oh, I've only heard stories. I've not witnessed it myself.
You sound like you'd like to.
Scourging, deprivation, isolation, more scourging, KP.
Generally the scourging and the pain. So
This will be a blow for freedom and independence today. But don't worry, wherever there's someone trying to stand up for the little guy, there's a big, heavy boot ready to come down on the neck.
Always. That's the balance, isn't it?
Yeah. If you really want to know the Gadarin societies, what life is like under them, imagine a big boot on your face forever.
Doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound good.
No, that's why we're here. And profit.
So is money the only reason you're here, or is anything else drawn you to it as well?
That's the second question. I get to ask one first. So how did you get an EJ Core vessel? I have to know. This is amazing. Have you heard the hold music?
I still haven't heard the whole music. I still haven't. I need to speak with Vec about it. We simply rescued it from the ship that we were on. I was run by goblins and we managed to get away. Unfortunately, our pilot at the time was horribly murdered. Harpoons to the chest don't really do an awful lot to keep people alive. But he seems to live on through the ship's computer. And a little bit through EMA.
Interesting. That's possible.
I wasn't aware it was, but apparently so. In fact, could probably be able to tell you more than I.
Is it the ghost in the machine?
As you say those words, the lights suddenly dim throughout the vessel. Vec, where you are, up in the bridge, the ship's computer flickers out and static appears on the screen. It slowly blinks back to life as an obvious interruption in the power has caused the computer to reboot. You haven't dropped out of the drift. You are still coasting along, so the engines didn't cut out, but the power definitely blipped. There was an interruption to the ship's power supply.
Seem to have had a small problem. Nothing seems to have disrupted too badly. We're still on course. We don't appear to have lost too much time. Do you need any? Do you need an engineering check?
If you want to try and find out where the problem was, yes.
Yeah, please.
Should we be worried, Masami?
Tech hasn't started running and screaming yet, so no.
Ah,
Well,
good.
12.
12.
But you might.
You can't quite trace the issue. Everything appears now to be in working order. You can't quite put your finger on what the problem was. Maybe just a glitch, maybe something more serious. You don't know.
Okay. So I think we need to try and placate the machine spirit.
The ghost in the machine.
Yes.
It worked last time. I look around.
As you utter those words, this time the lights go out completely, and they stay out.
If I say it a third time, the whole ship implodes.
Yes, maybe don't say it the third time.
All right.
Yeah, don't say Golf Indigo.
I'll say the
Tango
roast is in
Mike.
the oven.
The power supply issue seems to have grown worse. The ship's lighting is out, and more concerningly, the ship's life support systems are also now operating at a compromised level of power. There is definitely a problem, and it is getting worse. You are going to have to find out what the issue is. Now, you have a clear path to follow. You have a definite outage in the lighting. You have a reduction in power through the life support system, so that can narrow your search. So if you roll me another engineering check, you can have a +2 circumstance bonus to it.
+2,
Honestly, we've had no
20,
problems for weeks.
23.
That's good. So you managed to trace that system back. You check all of the circuits between the engines, which are still online. You are still in the drift. You are still generating power. This is an interruption in the circuit, in the distribution system. You trace it to a junction near to the hull of the vessel, and you find that the relays have been interrupted. There is no power flowing through this particular junction box. You cannot access this junction box from inside. It is an external panel. So you don't know whether there's been a problem, an overload, and it's blown the circuit, or you maybe have taken some damage externally, or something has happened in orbit. You don't know. But the only way to go and check this out is from the outside. Now, with this power issue now getting worse, you're working at a compromised level of life support systems. There are now more systems going down. You are having to reroute power to keep the ship's computer online. You're having to reroute power to stay on the course. Dropping out of the drift and having your engines go offline, would cause a serious problem. That would be possibly many weeks of repairs to be made, especially since you'd be doing it in space, potentially adrift. So you're going to need to stay on board, and you're going to need to do whatever you need to get this power fed to the ship's computer.
Okay.
To keep those engines running, to keep the power on, at least to a certain extent. Somebody, or more than one somebody is going to need to go outside and investigate what actually has caused the damage and replace the part.
Just outside of game, I've got pressurized lungs. Can hold my breath for up to an hour and
Okay.
immune to the normal environmental effects of being in a vacuum.
Okay.
Also, the drone doesn't even have any lungs. I've got 50 feet worth of rope, so is there any way I can pass over control to EMA or Misomi and head outside? Unless anyone else can breathe outside.
You have spacesuits.
Right.
Everyone has a flight suit.
Okay.
Or equivalent to a flight suit. Those flight suits are capable of supporting life in a vacuum. They come with magnetic boots, so you can walk on the whole of the vessel. So yeah, anyone can go outside. Just you can do it without a spacesuit.
Yep. Okay.
EMA,
I'm
do
gonna
you want
kick
to?
back and see how they handle this. Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh.
EMA, would you like to help Beck with the repair?
Yes, Captain. Please state the nature of the medical emergency. Would you like a STD or perhaps a spinal tap?
If I have a
Is that
spinal
your
tap,
attempt at humour?
I do
Can
not
we have
understand, Captain.
Beck, you really do need to tweak some stuff.
I know, but I quite fancy a spinal tap, but only turned up to 11.
But why not just 10?
I don't get
Because 11's bigger.
I would turn it up to 20. I hold up all four hands.
Do you need assistance in removing those extra fingers?
EMA,
Extra.
no, he doesn't. Please don't.
AMA
Please
holds
don't.
up her hands. And... You have extra hands?
I do. This way I have two to hold the let me get the name right. My dushka, and the other two to high five myself.
Now that makes perfect sense.
It's to give me encouragement in battle.
Captain, would you like two extra appendages?
Okay, Vec, can you make me an engineering check?
It would improve your appearance.
I'm not sure it goes with the antenna. I think it'll probably be a bit too much.
There's an antenna.
It's like they always say, you never have antenna and extra arms. It's just
29.
too much.
Okay, you narrowly avert a large power surge to the main crew quarters. You manage to dump it into the engineering bay. You hear a console go pop. That's something you're going to need to repair later, but there was nearly a large power surge running through the common area. Things are degrading quickly. Are you trained in life sciences?
Yes.
Okay. Make me a check, please.
$17.
Something rings a bell. There are creatures that live in space. They're the bane of technology. They're some form of energy leech. Ships often pick them up. Maintenance crews hate them. You have encountered them previously on the Edgegull hauler, where you first started your career. They exist in normal space and in the drift, and they are renowned for power issues on ships, and not dealt with quickly. They can reproduce at a rapid rate. You can find yourself dealing with many of these creatures, and they can literally tear your ship to pieces, drain the power and leave you adrift. The fact that these systems now are failing at an accelerated rate, you believe that this is not just freak damage. This is an intentional siphoning or destruction of the vessel from the outside. You suggest to the others they need to get out there quickly, see what's wrong, and deal with the problem, because your ability to maintain your course, maintain the fact that you're still in the drift, is going to be getting harder and harder.
While I'm relaying that information, I put the hold music on through the speakers of the ship to keep our guest happy and unaware of what is going on behind the curtain. Right, which one of us is gonna, which two of us can head outside? We need to sort this out.
I'll come back. Yeah, May, make sure that Kajimi is well looked after and don't take off any additional arms.
Sure, Captain.
Okay, Vec, you're going to need to stay on board, and you're going to need to stay at the helm.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to
Please
need
be
to.
aware, Captain. I do not require air.
That's good. I do. I very much do. As I'm putting on the spacesuit. Squash my antenna in.
Okay.
Captain, I must push back against this course of action. It is unwise.
What is unwise?
Your departure from the ship. You are the captain. May I be the captain in your absence, Captain?
Part of me wants to sense motive on that, but never mind, I won't. You can act as captain, yes.
Oh, this should be entertaining.
Well, don't
EMA
say we
then
don't
walks
put on
off.
a performance.
And I go up to the main cabin. I go and sit in the captain's chair.
Don't get too comfortable.
Okay, so Misomi, you're going outside alone.
Apparently, yes.
You
That's what it's
haven't
meant to go outside.
cast.
I'll send little Vec with her. She needs an extra pair of lightning claws.
Okay, Kajimi, you notice that the captain, Misomi, and this robot, another robot, not EMA, that you haven't seen before, appear to be heading towards the airlock whilst, well, certainly Misomi is donning a spacesuit.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you would like to do?
I look at my instructions again. Was there anything about this in my instructions?
No, you
All right.
are nothing specific about this, obviously.
Okay.
But you are.
I'm a
You
guess.
have a vested interest in arriving at Apostate safely with this vessel, retrieving the munitions and delivering them onwards.
I'm waiting for an invitation, but it's not coming.
Nope.
So finally, I'll go.
Oh, we've lost a.
I'll go to a Kasimi. Sorry, yeah. Misomi, who's already out the door, apparently.
Yeah, she's gone. I just
Sucked
pushed the
out.
walk button.
Do you require assistance? I assume that if you wish to have me accompany you, please respond by having no response whatsoever. Excellent. I shall begin to put on my spacesuit as well.
Vec, do come in. Vec. Emergency. Vec.
Hey,
Vec,
mate.
this is your captain speaking. Sub-Captain Misomi seems to have gone out the airlock. Please be advised, we have lost all communication with her.
Did little Vec go with her, or is little Vec still inside?
I do not know.
Little Vec there.
No, Little Vec has gone outside.
Little Vec's gone outside. Okay, perfect. At least she's not alone. We need to come. I need to put some reverse thrust on to keep us held in space so we don't leave her behind. Do you want an engine piloting check for that?
No, that's fine. You're in the drift, so there's no reverse thrust. You hope she's still attached to the vessel.
Vec,
Okay.
emergency. Vec, please reply.
Yes, EMA?
It is Captain EMA.
Sorry, yes, Captain EMA.
Captain EMA here. Responding. I have a number of flashing buttons on my armchair. Should I push them?
What are they saying,
Sorry,
EMA?
too late.
What did you press, EMA?
It says AUTO.
AUTO? What colour is it? Is it green or red or flashing yellow?
It was yellow. It is now red.
Red?
Mm-hmm.
Try holding down there's 4 buttons. 2 on one side of the chair, 2 on the other. One has CTRL written on. One has ALT written on. One has DEL written on. See if you can fire all 3 of those at the same time. Is anything happening for you?
The lights just went out.
Okay, are they flickering back on now?
Not yet.
If you look across to your left-hand side, you'll find a large rune marked on. If you recite the incantation, please, 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 and then strike the rune, we should be okay.
Please, please, please. Please, please, please.
Any luck?
No.
Oh, there seems to be. I think there's a problem between the chair and the buttons.
Well, there's certainly a problem between communications and Miss Omi. So you have a choice.
Got to plug the bloody power cable in, so she's disconnected.
So she is now outside the vessel. You are now out of communications, so there has been a communications failure due to the power loss and the ongoing technical glitches. It's currently cursing your vessel.
I was going to say,
so you have a choice.
you want to take this opportunity to do a quick break?
We could do a quick break because
Eric.
I can do the cameras. Yeah. So we are just getting Sharon back now. So we will go for a quick break. We will be back in about 5 minutes while I sort the cameras out, and we will do a Q&A with our guest tonight, Eric. And if you have any questions, then please post them in chat, and one of the mods will let me know. So we'll see you in 5 minutes.
Alrighty. During that 5 minutes, by the way, Steve, I'd like my character to go grab Masoni so she doesn't drift off into space, and I'll be by doing the break.
Yeah. Great. Right. So we'll be back in 5.
Hi, everybody. I'm George.
And I'm Bob. We're the Shipping Goblins from Beetle and Cribs. Today, we're going to talk about the amazing Map Vault Collection. And with the Map Vault Collection, you get a bunch of gorgeous two-sided maps, all scaled for standard minis.
Yeah, get yours now for the Map Vault collection from Beetle and Grimm, and all the players at your table will be revved up and hyper because the only thing they'll be able to say is...
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Zoinks!
Yeah, do it again.
Zoinks!
Hello?
Who do you think you are?
Yes, Mr. Lillard.
You're just some goblin.
Yes, sir.
You can't just go off and use my
It's your
voice like
thing.
that. I have rights.
Completely. We just thought...
Me?
Okay.
I'm gonna take this right to
yes, sir.
Beetle. Hey, Grim.
Thank you, sir.
What happened?
Matthew Lillard watches our show!
Okay,
Extra
welcome
tools are
back,
handed to you.
everyone. We now have everybody back in their boxes. Sorry for the dropouts.
Sorry about
That's all right. It's fine. No problem. I went into emergency view mode, so it's okay. Miss Omi lost communication as she steps out of the airlock, and we'll
that.
get
Oh,
back
that's
on
not
to-
concerning at all.
No, we'll get on. We'll get on to what happens next.
Why just roll
after
up a new
Q&A.
character now?
We'll see whether you've come a cropper, so to speak. Right, I'm going to do a quick Q&A with Eric, our guest tonight. So Eric is a freelance author, an editor as well, I believe, and you've worked with Wizards Coast previously, and you're currently working on a graphic novel with the Mythmaker team. Do you want to talk about the stuff you've done with Wizards of the Coast? There's a
Sure,
particular
happy
supplement.
to.
Yeah.
Oh, so I've been freelancing with Wizards since 2000 with third edition, where I got started with Living Greyhawk. I was one of the Triad members for the Grand Duchy of Jeff. For those who do not play Living Greyhawk, let me put you in the Wayback Machine. We're going to go back in time for 20 years. It was organized play back for third edition, and they had taken the entire Greyhawk world and divided it up into each of the countries were assigned a real world region. And I was one of the Triad members, the three admins for the states on the eastern coast of the United States of Maryland, DC, West Virginia, Virginia, and Delaware. So basically the Chesapeake Bay region. And we got the Grand Duchy of Jeff, which is famous for being giant stomped into oblivion in multiple adventures. And so we got to play fighting the giants through our entire system. And it was our 5-year campaign that I was in charge. And it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
We started with 72 players because we were organized play, and we ended with about 750, if I remember.
Wow.
Which was pretty big numbers back in 2000, 2005, where we didn't have internet or streaming or any of the newfangled technologies. You went to a local convention and you played there. So we started with one suite at the hotel, and by the end of it, we were taking over the ballroom for a whole weekend. So I was in charge of writing all the adventures, making sure everything went off, and tell the coherent storyline. Then...
Also, all of that was linked because now I think the Adventurers League terminology is like the epics, isn't it? That they release, they do an epic with each release of the campaign, say like Storm King's Thunder.
Well, now we're working on with Ballband Games, which is one of the group that runs D&D games at the big shows of Origins, Gen Con, and their personal show of Winter Fantasy. And we have a special dispensation to run adventures in the Moonshays, which are a storied part of the Forgotten Realms. It was based upon the books of Doug Niles, who wrote Dark Walker and Moonshay, which was the first D&D novel published for the Forgotten Realms. And technically predated the Forgotten Realms because it was being written while they were in negotiations with Ed Greenwood to buy the Forgotten Realms and make it their official setting. And we got a new book out here for a campaign guide, which will, or regional guide, which will bring it up into 5th edition, because the last time it's been touched was 2E.
Oh, wow. It's been a while.
I should know that my apologies, that is incorrect. There were some Dragon Magazine articles written by Sean Merwin and Brian James. But the first time we've had a major book like this has done a systematic going over each of the Moonshae Isles. For those who are not familiar with Moonshaes, they're pretty much Dark Ages Britain with fantasy and all the D&D tropes put on top of it. So if you like druids and Vikings and werewolves and bards, and that is the Moonshaes in a nutshell. We put out about 12 adventures a year, give or take. COVID kind of threw us for a loop because all of our conventions got canceled. And so we've been putting them out as we could. And we're going to do a total of 20 trilogies for the Rising Shadows campaign, which is therefore 60 adventures, and each adventure is 4 hours. And you can get all these through the DM's Guild online, or you can play them at the Baldman Games virtual game days that are being run monthly now. You can get to that through the Yawning Portal off of the D&D website, which Baldman Games handles all those games that are run through the Yawning Portal.
Yeah, I think there's a link for the Baldman Games site in chat, or we'll put one in chat. So that when the conventions were cancelled, that's where you then moved your monthly game to. And have you found that's been effective? Is it worked for you?
It's been wildly effective. First of all, there's a whole lot less travel costs and a lot less the commitment people have to make. They can sign up for one game at one of these virtual game days and just show up, sit in front of their computer without ever having to leave their house and play. And then at the end of it, they go back to their normal lives. If you're doing this in person, you have to carve out a whole day, possibly a weekend if you're traveling, to go play this. So the barriers to entry are significantly lower. Downside is you don't get to see all your friends, which is sad. And also, I really like playing D&D in person.
Yeah.
But we're getting better at it. The mechanic, the system they have set up online is getting more and more robust as we bring in more and more DMs. What people can do with maps online now is just amazing. I am old Chessex grid with wet erase markers where the hands are covered with ink by the end of it, and then pushing little minis around. And that was the way I learned how to play Dungeons and Dragons. But we're going to do those again. We're going to do both.
Yeah.
Some people like virtual, some people like in person.
It takes me getting used to, but like you say, it opens it up. Obviously, because we played in Australia now. We've played with you. We played with lots of guys in North America. It opens up a lot more boundaries. You know, to be able to play in games and play with people that you would never have made contact with before, which is great.
We did have some people travel from Australia to come play with us at Gen Con and Winter Fantasy, and that's a commitment.
Yes.
That is big commitment. I am hats off to them doing that. I think it's commitment for me to drive from here to Indiana for Gen Con, which is about a 9-hour drive.
That's still a journey. So you're also working on a graphic novel, Snow by Night.
Mm-hmm.
That's an ongoing project, I believe.
Yep. It's on small, already too long hiatus because of Moonshaes, which occupies a lot of times when you bring out that amount of content. I had to focus on it, but therefore I was very interested in the webcomic model, inspired by Order of the Stick, Rich Burlew. But I decided to go, instead of a D&D themed adventure, I would go with my area of the world, which is Virginia, and which is the old colonies of England, and I love the history of that period of time. And so we did a comic set in the fantasy version of colonial North America, about the time of what we would call the French and Indian War, which is breaking out in the comic.
Right.
As things are rapidly spinning out of it And it goes about a Manitou, which is a Native American nature spirit. And her name is Snow by Night. And she is the daughter of winter. In fact, we have a picture of her on our cover of the book. And she is a spirit on a quest to find her heart.
Cool.
And she's kind of a catalyst as she goes through and upsets apple carts all about her as she runs through it. Since we are dealing so much with Native American mythology, as well as the colonial experience and the Age of Discovery, working with Native Realities Press, the president, his name is Lee Francis, and to get input from that side of things. And we've had a lot of fun also sponsoring Indigenous Comic-Con, which now is Indigipop X, after San Diego won their trademark lawsuit that says Comic-Con now belongs to them. They had to change their name. But got to meet a lot of Native producers and writers and artists supporting that show. Very pleased to do so, and it's enriched Snow by Night so much.
Yeah, that's, and because we were talking before we came online about the interest in history, and obviously you had the interest in history before you got into this. So I guess that's that part of the creative process of getting the authenticity into the story. It's been a big plus for you.
I had a couple friends who live up in Quebec. And I met them, weirdly enough, through being the triad member of Living Greyhawk. And I was like, any place that snows this much must be magical. So I started, that's how Snow by Night was born.
Right.
And as I started researching the area and learning, as I was writing the story, learning more about the setting, the more I came to understand how involved the Native nations were in that time period. They were everywhere, into everything. And you just could not tell a story of that period without involving them. Not something that I was an expert in, so started researching more, and that's what led me eventually to Lee Francis and Native Realities Press. So I could talk to him about all these things. And then I learned about what he's doing. Like, he's doing a Kickstarter right now for a Howl, which is Native American werewolves, which looks fascinating. I'll send you the link. And I'm also hoping to have him help me with another D&D project set in the Moonshays, because there's a bunch of Maztecan names on the Isle of Gwyneth in the Moonshays. Mazteca is Forgotten Realms, Central America, effectively. And I was wondering, like, how did they get there? Because there's no lore about it in any of the books. And so working with Lee and a Brazilian writer as well to help us come up with a background for what's going on there, how these people got here, what's doing, and how to involve them in your D&D adventures.
That's good. So there's been a question from chat, particularly about the graphic novel style. So you've obviously worked on Snow by Night. Is there a particular graphic novel you would have wanted to work on, if you could choose one?
Oh my heavens, Fables. I love that one so much.
Fables was fantastic. Yeah.
It was a unique and interesting new way to look at fairy tales, which I love, looking at things through a new perspective. And I was, hats off. It was Bill Wallingham. Is that right, Dave?
Yep.
Okay. The other one obviously is Sandman, because Neil Gaiman is fantastic as well.
Yes.
But I think I like Fable slightly more. Also, I'm a big Rich Burlew Order of the Stick fan. I continue to support every Kickstarter he's put out. And I have all of his books.
So there's obviously a lot of, like I say, research that goes into a story, particularly when there's a lot of history behind it, and trying to get that element of authenticity in there. When you're writing a fantasy supplement, like you did for MENGE, weirdly there's probably also a lot of history and lore that goes with that, and you would need to be canon and, again, authentic with it. You worked on MENGE, he was co-author for MENGE Menzoberranzan. It's a word I can't say ever. Menzoberranzan, City of Intrigue.
Enzo Berenza. Manzo Berenza. Although the official line is that however you pronounce it is the correct way of pronouncing it.
I will mangle it
personally
every
for
time.
everything of the Forgotten Realms. As soon as you pick it up and put it on your table, whatever you say is what actually is the correct answer.
It becomes yours. It's your law. No one else's. Menza Baranzan.
We are just recommendations. Like this is what we think would work together. You can take or leave that. I've got all sorts of headcanons that don't actually make it into the books. Like my halflings are ethereal travelers from the ethereal plane and are pilgrims spent by Yandala to spread fruits and vegetables throughout all of the plains. So they have these river boats that actually can ethereal jaunt from one crystal sphere to the next, which is how halflings just appear one day. No one knows where they came from. They just came from the ethereal. And why all the fruits and vegetables and all the crystal spheres are the same is because the halflings put them there. And then eventually they will feel the call and we'll build boats, their river boats again, and then we'll once again ethereal jaunt to the next world.
Yes.
Total headcanon, not any of the books. Forgotten doesn't build anything about Forgotten Realms, but it's just fun.
So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kick off a giveaway. Do you want to show the Menzoberranzan supplement? Because you have that behind you, don't you? So while you're doing that, I'm not going to make the giveaway word Menzoberranzan.
You should do. You should do.
Why not?
Because I can win that.
You can make it illustrate.
Give it away to whoever can spell it correctly.
That's what Google's for. Copy paste.
Yeah. So would you like to give us a word? It'll be a keyword that we'll put into chat, and the giveaway prize is a PDF from Paizo, either Starfinder or Pathfinder. The user, I think, can choose. So if you can give me a word, I will put that into the giveaway box, and people can enter as we talk. You can show them in Menzoberranzan supplement.
Henry.
You're gonna have to spell that for me.
Bonray.
B-A-E-R-N.
Bonray.
Or Boehner.
The house of Bonray. Dritz de Erden, the house of Bonray.
Say
I was
Benley.
trying to swallow it like French. Like Boehner. Just kind of pull the tongue back. But again, however you pronounce it is the correct way to pronounce it.
How do you pronounce Dritz?
Dritz.
And Zacnophane.
Zacnophane.
Jarl Axel.
Jarl Axel.
Okay, Jarl Axel was fine. Okay. All the others you got wrong. Even though
they have brilliant depth. I mean, there is some serious French going on here. So that's why I called the Benre. I was kind of do like Phaedra.
Yeah.
As the name. I was trying to pull it back. In the R, it goes back the throat.
Yeah,
I want to do another book.
I'm reading through Salvatore's current books at the moment. And he's gone back in time to Menzoberranzan, and just there are so many names now. That's all.
After I get done with Moonshays, I want to do another book on Orindlin, which is the Drow city underneath the high moors, because I would love to detail other cities, because they're not all like Menzoberranzan. They're all not Lolth strongholds. And I believe Wizards is touching on that on some of the stuff they're coming out with, that there's multiple different groups of Drow.
Yeah, it's I think Salvatore is doing it again, isn't he? Is it his next trilogy? Is it a Star Fallen or something like that? I can't remember. I only saw it briefly.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I remember now.
But yeah, that one was going to be a hidden refuge of Illustrae, built in the ruins of a Drow city that collapsed with the spell plague. And it was a site where Mistra pulled Lady Silverhair back out of the weave and reincorporated her as a god. As a consequence, there's a shrine now to her, but it's a hidden refuge in the Underdark. Because if the Lolthites ever found out about it, they would burn that place to the ground because they hate Illustrae with 1,000 suns. Well,
To add another question, this one's from Ipsy, who's our emergency elf. What is your favourite trope?
Favorite trope?
Yep.
The oppressed underdog striving against overwhelming odds.
And I'm not sure what this question is, but I'll ask it as it's written. This one's from Dragon's Fire. Plotter or pantser?
Oh heavens, a little of both. So when I write my stuff for either running as a game or moonshays, I will have a very vague outline, which will be the plot scene part of it, and then the pantsing part, which is how I implement the plotting. Of like the party is going to go their various directions, and I need to steer them back to where they need to be. So that would be the pants. So I'm a loose plotter, and then in the moment pantser.
Okay. So you talked about the stuff that you've done for the organised play back in the early 2000s, third edition, and having that overarching story. So is that always in the front of your mind when you are putting something together? Is what is the overarching story that links all this together? That's the plot part that you're talking about. Yeah.
Kind of like I recently had the privilege to take to assume become the DM of another streaming group with the Games Tavern called the Velkin Weave, and I'm taking over from Grant Ellis, who's another master DM. And the first thing I had to do is I had to do a bunch of work in the background of figuring out what the giant plot was that's going on in the background. That because the players will want to see hints of that. You have to get the foreshadowing in. You have to have the resonance of things making sense. And the more you can start feeding those little things in, the more I find players love it. They love getting little nuggets of information like, beyond the caves of the eyeless ones, you will see the couriers that will take you down to the deepest docks of the sunken sea. And you have to know enough of what's going to happen that you want to have happen to be able to start pulling those tidbits in. And I also love weaving together lots of other people's stuff. Like I have all the books back here I use as a reference. And for the Velkin Weave, I finally get to use this one by Carl Sargent. And I've never had the privilege of running this one. Now, the reason why I'm willing to share this with you on running it is because I'm not going to run it as is. I'm going to combine it with like 3 other things and mash it up. Like Out of the Abyss is going to get a mashup on it. Evil Tide by Bruce Cordell is going to get mashed into it. And this way the players can't figure out what exactly is going on. I do that, which I think is the wonder about being the DM. If you can change things as you need.
Yeah, you can steer the story where you want it to go, or or it's an organic thing that tells itself. If you can get to that point, I think that's when the game is at its greatest.
How long does that take you?
I haven't done it yet.
Usually, I think it takes me about 4 sessions with the normal group before you get enough seeds planted and the players feel comfortable in their player skins and they understand the world around them enough to start not just anticipating what they're going to do, but anticipating what other events around them will happen.
Yeah.
Usually it's 4 sessions, but sometimes it's longer.
Yeah.
And that's just for me. Other people might be faster.
It takes a while for, I think, groups to get comfortable with each other. So, particularly, it depends on if people know each other as well. It depends on the setting. It depends on how comfortable they are with the game, the rules, and there's a lot of different things, I think. But when you get to that point, that's it. That's what we play for, I think. Okay.
I'm impressed with what you have here, by the way. The camaraderie among the Badgers. Work really well together. And here I am, the guest, going, I don't know what I should be doing now.
Oh, we don't know what we're doing either. Just style it out.
We will find out in a second. I'm just going to roll the giveaway, and then we'll get straight back into it and find out what has happened to Masami, and can you rescue her, or are we going to be witnessing another character roll up?
No, not another one.
Right, I'm just going to roll this now. And it's Ipsy. There's one. Congratulations, Ipsy.
Hey, well done, Ipsy.
Yeah, well done.
Congrats.
Right, so we will get
Trying to
your
get that
details
move screen.
from you after the stream, Ipsy, and then we'll get that over, and you can choose your Paizo product. Right, so thank you, Eric. We will
Sending that link to you, by the way. Just put it into the chat on Twitch for the yawning portal.
Ooh,
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. This has been amazingly fun. I look forward to not botching Masoni's rescue at all.
Well, we will find out. Okay, so returning back to the bridge of the vessel, the boss, as you've affectionately nicknamed it. Communications with Masomi are out. You also are unable to reach your droid Vec. You are in the drift. You are steadily losing more and more power to this vessel. You're doing your best, but if this continues, you are eventually going to lose ship's computer. You will eventually lose the engines, and then you can look forward to being stranded in the middle of nowhere. You believe this is being caused by drift leeches. Masomi has effectively stepped outside on her own and disappeared off the radar. What do you want to do?
Follow her. As soon as I get my spacesuit or whatever helmet on, I don't know if my freebooter armor has spacesuit capabilities built into it.
Yeah, it does. Any armor, flight suit, has magnetic boots, has independent life support. So
can I do the cool Guardians of the Galaxy things where you push your head in?
You certainly can.
Going out.
Okay.
She's much nicer than Ainsley. I probably should save her.
EMA, are you staying in the captain's chair? Are you also going to find out what's happened to Masomi?
Affirmative. I will stay in the captain's chair.
Okay.
I am pushing buttons.
And Vec, you're staying.
You're the
at
reason things aren't
controls.
working.
Okay, Kajimi, you step into the airlock. You cycle through and you step outside. You do in fact see Masomi, and you see Vec's droid maybe 20 or 30 yards ahead of you. And they are about 30 feet away from what would appear to be giant purple worms. And I will put up a picture of that in Twitch in just a second, so you can see it. It is a bit like the Dune sandworms out of game, is the easiest way to describe it. They are all over the hull of the vessel. There's 6 of them that you can see. They have a slight radioactive glow to them, and they appear to be puncturing holes into various junction boxes in order to draw down the power from the vessel. What do you wish to do?
Can we communicate with what's going on inside?
Your communications are out.
Okay. Cool. How big are these worms?
They're about waist high, about 3 feet.
Okay, so not like stupid big.
No, no, no.
What do I want to do to them?
I like the way you say waist height size worms are not stupid big. Yes, they are.
I was thinking June size.
That
So
would be super stupid big. But
that will be nope, we're gonna die. I give up.
we're just going to get back in the ship and take off.
It's just the worms. It's nothing. There's nothing else.
There's nothing else you can see. You can just see these 6 worms, and they're certainly damaging the vessel. So they've punctured into several junction boxes. Electricity is sparking off, and they seem to be drawing that power into them somehow.
Can I point at the nearest one and just go, "Oi, what are you doing? Stop doing that!" and cast daze on one of them and see if it
Yeah,
gets
you can.
dazed?
Yeah, you can.
You need to make a will save,
I will save. I
but
can
if it
attempt to do that.
has, what is it? CL, is it CL3 or lower? It might work. Otherwise, it's just not going to work.
It's lower than CR3, and
Okay,
I rolled effectively a 0 for my will saving throw.
you are dazed.
Okay, so that particular one that you pointed at and cast a spell suddenly seems to drop limp
Okay.
to the outside of the hull. It's no longer biting down and chewing on the metal and sucking energy away. It's stupefied.
Okay.
The other 5, however,
Still there.
still there, and they now turn in your direction, having noticed you. So, Kajimi,
No.
I'll let you have a pre-round action as well. So you can do something if you wish, and then we'll roll into initiative. Are you there, Kajimi?
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what did you want me to do?
So you can have one action before we go into initiative as like a surprise round.
Direct to draw all my weapons if I see all these worms.
Yep. Okay. You draw your flame doshies. You draw both pistols.
Okay. And is that it, my one action?
For drawing all of those, yes, it would be your one action. I'll let you have a move action as well, so you can get a bit closer to Misomi if you wish.
I would love to.
Okay. Right, and then we are going to.
My apologies. Misomi and Kajimi just registered as the same name in my mind for a moment.
Question for Vec: did you give the droid any the drone any specific instructions when it left? Was it to act as a bodyguard for Misomi or what?
The drone's default instructions are to defend the ship and then the crew in that order.
Okay, right. So, what would you like the drone to do as a pre-initiative action?
What sort of distance are we away from these worms?
30 to 40. We'll make it feet. 30 to 40 feet equivalent.
Okay, perfect.
In terms of range.
The drone's got a speed of 30 feet, so can I make a move action to close the distance? And then can I attack, or am I too far away?
What's your drone speed? 30?
30 feet, climb.
I'll say there's one within 30 feet, so yeah, you can do that.
Okay, perfect. So to attack it, I need to make. What do I need to check? What do I need to roll? Sorry. I've got strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma for the drone because it's not a full spec. So do I just roll for an attack?
Yep, you're off for an attack, yeah.
Okay, perfect. 1d3 plus 2.
No, you really need to roll to hit first. So you need to roll a d20.
15?
15 hits, yeah. Roll your damage.
1d3 plus 2. And that is a +2, 4
4 damage.
energy.
4 energy. Okay. So you smack the creature. You do damage, but it seems to absorb some of that energy. And more worryingly, the drone, which is a technological creature, appears to be affected by this field that's around the leech, almost if the power's been drained from the drone, and he's moving into the leech itself, and it starts to fail. So can you make me a D20 fortitude save, please?
Yep. That's 8. No, 11. Sorry,
11. Okay, right. Well, that's just enough. You scored more than 10. That's fine. You don't lose any abilities or stop working properly, so that's fine. No penalties for next round. Right, initiative, please.
Is this everyone, Steve?
I'll do everyone, yeah, so that you two can have the opportunity to do something inside as well.
11.
Is that for Vec or the drone?
11 for the drone.
Yep.
5 for Vec.
10 for EMA.
Okay. Kajimi?
3. When you roll a 1.
Yes, indeed. And Masumi?
4.
Wow. Wow.
We're gonna die.
Hopefully these space lugs won't go before us.
Yep, they do.
Oh.
You surprise me.
Okay, so one is still dazed, so I'm going to say he hasn't got an action. One is going to attack the drone with a bite, so his toothy maw flies towards the drone, take a large chunk out of its side. That hits an armor class of 17 and does 1 point of damage to the drone if it hits, which I believe it does.
Yes, 15.
Okay, so that's now got the drone by the casing, and it's almost shaking it around like an angry puppy, again trying to draw more of that energy down. The other 4 leeches turn their attention to both Kajimi and Misomi. They glow with this sort of iridescent radioactive aura as they then launch globules of mucus from their mouths, this horrible purple colour, so making ranged attacks against you. So it is 2 each. Misomi, 1 hit with an armour class of 13. That's an energy armour class 13.
Damn it, yes.
Okay. The other one missed.
Okay.
And that is 1 point of damage. Rocking the damage
Okay.
tonight. And
It's
Kajimi,
fine, you can stick with that.
Kajimi, that's a 17 on one attack and a nat 1 on the other. So I'm going to rule that the nat 1 loses its grip on the outside of the hole, and you see it disappear very rapidly behind the vessel as you're still in the drift. So it effectively falls back into the drift, waiting another starship to pass. So that's that one gone. But the other one hit an armor class of 17. Does that hit you?
17 will hit me.
Okay, that is 3 points of damage.
That goes to hit points or stamina
It
points.
goes off your stamina first, and then when you run out of stamina, it then goes off your hit points.
Interesting. Okay.
That's my go over. Drone is up next, Vec.
Okay. Just outside of this, can I ask you a really stupid question?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a round and a turn?
Your turn is you, and you
Yeah.
have your one turn round, 1 turn per round. So a round is everybody going round.
Going around the table.
Going round the table, effectively everybody having their turn. So everybody gets 1 turn in 1 round.
Turn is when you act, and a
Yeah.
round is when everyone's acted.
Much better
Okay.
without the rambling incoherence.
That's fine.
Thank
You got put on the spot. I had time to think.
Yeah. If anyone else does polarized damage, you add my damage onto yours, but only that resets at my turn.
Okay.
We've got a 8.
That unfortunately misses.
Perfect.
Okay, do you want to move or stay where you are?
I'm going to. I've still got one latched onto me, haven't I?
Yeah, you have.
Can I move towards the rest of them?
Yep.
So bringing them all together, because the prime directive is to defend the ship.
They are spread out to a certain extent. They aren't really clumped together in one group, but you can certainly drag that one with you if you like to the next. So you got 2 side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. Okay. Next up, EMA.
I'm going to look at the my captain's chair.
Yep.
And adjust the cushion a little bit. What I'm essentially looking for, I've got this idea in the back of my head that's forming of 1 is additional shields, 2 is weaponry, anything I can use. Is there anything like that on the console?
There isn't, but there is a flashing light saying that there is a discharge of energy, almost like weapon fire, happening in close proximity to the vessel.
Oh,
Right
let's turn that
outside.
off. We don't need that. Let's turn that one off. That's annoying. What I'm trying to do is, can I? Again, there's a kind of feeling in the back of my mind that can I physically rig the system to bypass any fail safes that might discharge energy from the ship to the outer plates?
Yes, there is.
Like, can I do it as simple as like rip out the bottom of the console, fiddle with the wires, stick them together, and it's going to work?
You can hack the software and
There you go.
disable the fail safes to effectively do that, and you can reroute the power surges that Vec is manfully trying to control, so it discharges to the outside of the vessel.
Okay.
So you need to make me a computers check, please.
Computer check. Ooh. It's outside the tray. I will re-roll. It was a high number. I got 16, and then I've got plus 13 on top.
29 in total.
Yep.
Amazingly, your button mashing approach to being in the captain's chair has had the consequence of doing exactly what you said. You notice that there is a power surge come in, and you know Vec has been trying to maintain these so they don't do any damage to the ship, but you get there first. You reroute that power surge, and it is going to do damage to the ship, to the hull of the ship. Throughout the external parts of the vessel, you manage to damage each junction box and relay circuit that exists. You just completely overload all of those points. So you will do some damage to the ship. Vec is going to have to do some work in repairing them. But fortunately, you've directed that power unknowingly to all of these leeches that are sat there eating away at this power. So please roll me 2d6.
Is that me?
3 in total.
Dave.
3 in total. So every leech that is currently sat at the junction box on the outside is going to take 3 points of damage, as is Vec's drone, because unfortunately he's also moved towards one of those. But yeah, they all take 3 points of damage. So the one that was hanging on to you, or to your drone, Vec, just shrivels up horribly as this power surge goes through its small purple worm body and kills it outright. The others, you see the electrical sparks surround them and obviously do damage as this power surge overload their ability to leech this power off. That was a good move. I would give you a PP coin if I had one to hand.
I don't have one to hand either. But thank you very much. I'll make a note of the PP coin. And so again, somewhere deep inside EMA's circuitry is a yeah. She has a need to like take off the hat and then doesn't know why and then puts it back on.
Okay, good move. Unfortunately, it didn't quite kill them all, but you definitely damaged them all. So that's your go over. Vec, you're next. So you don't have anything to do this round from an engineering point of view because EMA is redirected the power surge to all the relays. So you can actually take an action. What do you want to do?
Okay. Have we still got the weapons that we fitted with last time?
Yeah, you do have the forward firing cannons.
Forward firing cannons.
But not much use for shooting at stuff
No.
that's on the outside of your vessel.
Okay. Can I just basically I'm still running engineering. I've detected that my drone's getting some damage, and I'm trying to minimise the damage that's being done by these leeches while everything's going on, and keep enough power going through. So maybe reroute a few things so EMA can try and use that electrical burst again.
Yep, okay.
Engineering check?
Engineering check. If you succeed, then what we'll do is if EMA wants to do the same thing next round, then he'll get a circumstance bonus to his roll.
Okay. 19.
Yep, that's good enough. So you get a +2 circumstance bonus on your computer check roll next time. EMA.
I radio through to EMA to tell them whatever you did last time, I've sorted it out so you can do that again.
Okay. Affirmative. Who is that?
The disembodied voice.
Okay. Would you like a bandage?
No, no body, no bandage.
Would you like a body?
No, thank you.
Do you feel pain?
Emotionally.
Okay, Miss Amy, you're up
Take
next.
2 of these and call me in the morning.
So me having been hit by this goo, she's going to look at the nearest couple and just go, well, that's just rude. I can do the same thing to you. And she's going to cast ectoplasmic barrage and fling some psychic material at them. And it's the text says 2, and because they're quite close together, if I hit, which I rolled 19.
That is a hit.
Okay, that's good. I don't have to add anything extra. And sorry, did not get prepared with the dice. Take 8 points of psychic damage and it's KAC, but that makes a difference. Oh no, sorry, it's bludgeoning damage. I lie.
Okay, so what does the spell manifest as?
She kind of pulls her arm back and flings. It's almost like this sort of goo, like they flung out, but there's glitter in it. It's just nicer. It's just nicer. It's kind of subtle glitter, so it's classy.
Okay. So you cast a spell. You thrust forward these globules of classy, glittery balls of ectoplasm.
You can do glitter classy, but hey, this is fantasy.
And you hit 2 of them. You hit 2 that are fairly close together, and you do enough damage to kill them. Well done.
Yeah.
Their lifeless bodies drift away harmlessly from the vessel. And last up, Kajimi.
All right. I will need your help because I have absolutely no idea what I'm capable of doing in one round.
Okay.
So I will just start describing and tell me where I have to stop.
You can make a standard attack, which would be firing one weapon, or you can move in and use a doshku. Or if you want to go full attack option, that means you can stand where you are, fire both pistols, but you will have a -4 to hit.
Well, my entire bonus is +4, so
it'd be a chance taking a straight 20 roll on their armor class.
I think it was much more entertaining to run forward, igniting the Dashku, and slash.
Go for it. Right, go for it. Make me an attack then, please.
Alrighty, 14 plus 5 is 19.
Yeah, that is a hit. Roll your damage.
All right, 4 plus 3 is 7F. What is F?
Fire.
Fire?
Fire damage.
Okay.
Okay, you stride forward purposely, swinging and igniting the Dosku in one massive sweep of your bulky two-handed grip. It rips into the side of this leech, completely obliterating it. It turns almost to ash and uses up the energy that is stored in a way of destroying itself. The body falls away from the vessel. It's dead. There is only one left.
I turn back to Masomi and I say, "You wanted to know what I did for Ainsley. I solve problems."
You seem very good at it, I must say. Could certainly use someone like you around. We keep running into problems.
Okay, that leech, seeing that you are potentially the problem one amongst the group that's on the outside, moves towards you. The 10 feet that is currently situated away from you, moves up and attempts to bite, hitting an armor class of 20.
This
That's-
is Kajimi.
This is me.
It's you, Kajimi. Yes.
I take it on the chin or foot.
That is 2 points of damage.
All right. That goes to stamina, you say?
Yes, it does. Okay, that is the leech's go over drone.
There's still a leech attached to the drone, right?
No, that is dead. That one that got
Okay.
power surged by the EMA. There is one leech left in view, and that's currently grappling with Kajimi, about 15 feet away.
Okay. The drone moves forwards to take the rear of the worm, if there is such a thing.
Yep.
And moves to make an attack.
Okay.
I was just looking at the details of the weapon. It says usage 2. Does that mean 2 attacks?
Probably not.
Okay, that's 10.
That unfortunately misses.
Okay.
Okay. EMA.
I'm gonna go back to the console and I want to see if there are more blips around the ship. Are we still getting warnings?
You're still getting warnings. They're much reduced. You're now down to one relay still actively drawing power. The rest seem to have been quelled.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to see if I can increase the amount of energy traveling through the ship on the outside. I'm going to go over to the bucket of water and sponge in the corner on the bridge, because every bridge has that. I'm going to dip my hands in. I'm going to break open the panels and I'm going to pull 2 cables out. And I'm going to smash them together and allow the energy of the ship to travel through my body. And I can power it up and put it back through the ship.
Are we just going to have to have a death count for your character, Dave?
Roll me a computers check then.
I got. Okay, so my skills is 13, but I got natural 1.
Okay. So you
Do I succeed?
no. Even with the +2 circumstance bonus, it's still on that one. So yeah, you get out of the chair where you was happily button mashing and reprogramming all sorts to send power surges to here, there, and wherever, and you just purposely rip the faceplate off of the computer. You pull whatever wires seemingly appear to be in front of you that are thick enough to carry power, and you, for whatever reason, link them together. Which, on hindsight, seems like a really bad idea. The power surge that was what you're intending to send to the outside of the vessel doesn't go to the outside of the vessel. It routes itself through you, your metal chassis, and then grounds out into the bridge, causing the panels to lose power and the bridge to become electrified even for a few seconds or a few nanoseconds. Vec, you've got some work to do in shutting that down as quickly as possible, and EMA, you are now unconscious. So Vec, your go. I'm going to ask you to make me an engineering check, please.
Okay. Vec exclaims something in his own language that the power supply just can't take this. I rolled 17.
That's good enough. All you're doing is killing the power. You're not trying to salvage anything. You're just shutting the power down so you can then get in and see well what you can do for the EMA, because he is now stone cold unconscious.
Okay. Make sure everything in my department's safe and scuttle up to the bridge, going through all the vents to get there quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Right, that's your go over, Miss Amy. There is one leech left. It's currently in melee range with Kajimi and Vextrone.
Okay. I will not fling anything at it because that would probably not go well. What am I do? I don't know what that does. I'm just going to point at it and go, no, leave, and try and daze that one, the last remaining one.
Okay.
So will save, please.
11.
That is a fail.
Okay, so
he's also dazed.
It's dazed. Okay.
Yep.
That's no damage, though, is it?
There's no damage, no, just dazed.
Yeah. So it loses, doesn't lose consciousness, or just loses interest and focus on what's going on in front of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to do?
So I've left the way open for you, Kajimi. Finish him off.
Okay, Jimmy, it is your turn.
I'd like to finish it off.
Go for it.
Would it be more advantageous just to kick it with an athletics check and see if I can knock it off the hull?
Yeah, I'll
Or try to hit it with a sword?
Yeah,
Or
I'll allow you to kick it if you make me an athletics check, please.
Alrighty. 27.
Oh yes,
Ooh.
you
Boom.
punt that
Punt it.
off the back of the vessel. It just skies off into the drift.
No
Disappears
ticket.
very quickly. It's gone. It's done. That is every leech that you could see now dealt with. There is quite a fair bit of damage on the exterior of the vessel now, what with power surges blowing the junction boxes, what with the damage the leeches have done. As I say, Vecca's going to have a busy few days repairing this, but you didn't drop from the drift and the engines are still running, which is the most important part. So that is combat over. You can make your way back inside.
Yeah.
Vec, you reach the bridge where you find an unconscious EMA.
Okay. I look over him without touching him in case there's any electric going on. I discern that there isn't any electrics going on, but that he needs some sort of assistance. So I'd like to do a medicine check, but using my engineering because he's a robot. And that is a 23.
Okay, you discern that he is unconscious. If androids can go unconscious, he's gone into this sort of fugu state. Whereas the chips in his brain seem to be realigning. His programming is doing something. There is no real physical damage. There's some, not critical damage. There's some burn marks, some scorch marks on his casing. He's obviously taken a large electrical shock that's grounded out. He may have taken a few hit points worth of damage. I mean, describe an android as being injured in that way. But the reason he is unconscious is he seems to be going some not necessarily factory reset, but some internal reprogramming. You make him comfortable. You take him back to the crew quarters, and I think this is just a case of waiting until he reboots. As you arrive back into the main crew area, Masomi, Kojimi, and your drone cycle back through the airlock. A few more minutes pass, and then eventually the EMA comes back to consciousness.
That was fun.
You're all very good at problem solving. You're very efficient.
Yeah. That's why they're sending me in.
From what you said about the mission, I can understand that.
So, high chance of bloodshed.
Well, we'll stay away from that a little bit. Now, Beck, what happened to
I
EMA?
would say 20 feet.
What happened to EMA?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you know what happens sometimes when people go around touching stuff.
There's
Well, he
they make
touched-
that noise.
He touched some stuff, and I'm going to be rather busy because I need to repair him first, and then I've got to sort out all of these.
Was that shock?
It was one of them, yeah. It was a shock for me, but it was more of a shock for him.
Shocking.
It was very effective.
It was extremely effective. How's the drone?
The drone is damaged. You're going to need to make some repairs.
Okay.
You're going to need to make repairs to the vessel systems.
So
So you're going
so
to be busy.
everything.
for the
Add it
next
to your
6
repair
days.
list.
I will add it onto my list, which is getting longer than my tail.
What kind of shape is the ship in? Are we still alright to be moving through the drift?
Yep. Yep, you're
It's
still alright
sort
to
of
be moving through the drift.
Like a round tube, rockets at the back, windows at the front, that sort of shape.
Beck, I asked for that, but that's still uncalled for. I am your captain.
Okay, the EMA is now awake, and as is his
Does he work? Does he respond?
attitude, he's probably waiting for interaction.
EMA 11011101101101.
Vec, is that you, buddy?
It is, yeah.
Oh man, I just had the strangest dream, man. It was a case of whiskey, some ruby slippers, and I think I died, Vec.
I
I think I bit the big one in my.
I don't want to alarm you, so just do me a favour.
I got a real
Don't-
bad headache, man.
Don't
Any
look-
pills for this one?
I'll cook you something up. Just do me a favour right now.
Oh yeah. Can you give me some
And-
bacon? I'll just let you here for a little bit. I feel
I
a bit
can.
stiff all over.
I've got some pain away with your name written right on it. But do
Damn
me a
good.
favour right now. Don't look at your reflection, or look at yourself.
Why not? My head is just.
Just
Feels a
stare
bit-
at something opaque
Why-
or not reflective.
Why am I wearing gloves?
Well, just
Why-
no, not reflective
Why-
stuff. Remember, we just
And
spoke
suddenly you
about
see
this.
EMA sit up in the bed or whatever you put her on. No, what? Vec, what have you done to me, Vec?
I did nothing.
What did you do?
No, just this time it's not me. Some weird stuff happened, man. Do you remember? All of a sudden, you lost rather a lot of weight.
No, man.
Like
I've
sort
never
of.
been as big as this. What
yeah,
happened? What have
well-
you done to me?
Do you remember the goblins? on the bikes.
No.
Do you remember the? I don't know how to put this in a kind way.
Wait, whoa. Hold on now. Hold on. You said that was in my dream, man. That was in my dream.
No. Do you remember the explosive decompression of your thoracic cavity?
No. No,
Right.
what? No. And as I start to look around, I see whoever the strange person is, and I see Miss Omi. What?
Strange person is just watching us eating.
I've got no genitals. Where's my dick?
We had
That's
to.
what you're concerned about?
You've got a wide, flat area now. It will
Chrome
save.
dome where I'm not supposed to have a chrome dome.
In the long run, it will save you a lot of time and potentially heartache.
Miss Omi. Oh no. Please. Oh God. Where's my hat? No one knows where my hat is.
What condition is the hat in after the electricity?
It's okay. It wasn't
Okay.
grounded to anything.
Is this the pilot?
It's yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I was the pilot.
Of sorts. I hide
Funny.
behind my own tail.
Cowboy, there is no very nice way of saying this. You died,
What?
and
still
somehow
here.
you became part of the ship. And well, this emergency medical android was here, and somehow you've managed to shock yourself back into the android. I don't know if you're the luckiest or
don't know how,
unluckiest
as far
person.
as I just woke up. I just had a really bad dream. And my head's pounding. I got a taste of the Texan tickles, you know? I don't know. But this is crazy. Just tell me I'm dreaming. I'm still dreaming, right?
You're not dreaming.
No. Unfortunately, dude, you've changed your base from carbon to silicon.
And where are we?
We're in the drift. We are heading towards. Where are we? Aposty.
Yes, your Corias.
How long has it been since I died?
About 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
But look at it this way, right? Because you're. How can I put this? Because you're actively challenged, you now don't pay tax.
Actively, I'm dead and I'm a goddamn robot.
Yeah, but there are benefits.
Not paying tax.
Benefits.
Not paying tax. A lot of people that I met,
benefits.
a lot of people I used to know would think of that as a very good benefit.
No need to sleep. You've got the Hoover attachment if you're worried about the wide, flat area. But just don't mix people's drinks with it. That's frowned upon in polite society.
Oh my god. He starts trying to run around the room trying to find a reflective surface.
Miss Omi will pull out a mirror. Miss Omi will
You
have
can
a
turn
mirror.
the view screen into a reflective surface. Just use one of the internal ship's cameras.
And he just stares at his face for quite a long time, just staring at his face and looking at it and looking at the reflection and then going back to the big headlamp irises.
Keep eating cashews.
Oh my God. I'm not even a good looking robot.
Beggars
You
can't
want
be
a decent
choosers.
body? I'm no beggar.
That was the deal breaker? If you were a good looking robot?
Well, who knows what people pay for these days?
Oh, people pay a lot for a lot of different things. You really don't want to know.
Well, I was a good looking man. Now what am I? I'm a tin can in a cowboy hat. Oh my God, I'm a tin can Texan.
It sounds an awful lot like your brain might have moved up your body. It might be positive.
Well, I got nowhere else to put it. Dumb. What am I gonna do?
Would you like some polish?
Ow. I need a goddamn drink. Where's my whiskey?
Yeah, about that. You're
Where are we? I
In the
don't see the
drift.
drift.
We're
Don't
in
see
the
the
drift.
Oh, no, where are we? This isn't our ship.
Oh no, this is the boss. This is the new ship. A lot of stuff has happened since you've gone through the change.
Down for the goddamn change. Look at me. What did you do? What did you do on my
I
body?
did nothing. I did nothing
Did you
apart from
bury
just
my
save
body?
you just
Did you
then.
shoot it into space? Did you burn it in the engine?
We didn't.
You didn't put it in the replicators.
No, no. You didn't get
Put it on
turned
ice.
in.
You
No,
put me back. Put me back in my body, Vec.
we can't. It's you know how we kind of feed some of the lower down levels of the crew. You know,
The crew?
The-
You mean the rats? Like you,
yeah.
Vec. You're talking about
No.
your
Don't
pet
use
rats.
don't use the R words. That's R word.
Rats. I could roll it off the tongue if I had a tongue, Vec.
Wow. Look, I'll be blunt. We had a frank discussion about what we needed to do, and we were as respectful as possible when we turned you into corpse starch.
You say my body's gone. You got rid of my body.
It kind of is because
You can stick it in the fridge.
we didn't really think that a conversation this awkward would happen.
It's been 6 months. You've been dead
Yeah.
6 months. Why would we think that you'd come back? You were
Well, I'm
very
back
dead.
now.
You had a harpoon through your chest, and you were also in a cabin that was
got
depressurized in
harpooned?
space. You got harpooned.
Did
Got
What?
if it
Why
makes
don't
you
they shoot
feel
lasers?
if it makes you feel better, you got nailed to death.
Oh, Miss Omi, I like the double entendres as much as anybody, but this is not the time.
You
Or the place.
almost the first thing you said was you looked at your crotch and said, "Where's my dick?"
But
I
it's
think
very
that's where your
personal
priorities
attachment to
are.
me, and the attachment has now detached itself. I don't have one. I have nothing.
Oh, I'm sure that once we finish
There's-
this
I'm
mission,
standing here naked.
there's whole catalogues full of attachments for your wide flat area. You'll be all right.
Do I even eat? I'm not even breathing. Oh my God.
No,
No, you can go walk in space and not worry.
Okay, that could be different.
your tolerance for drinking's gone right up.
I think I need a moment. I've got to be still dreaming. Oh God. Oh God.
let's
And now he
just-
just kind of sits down into a corner, puts his head in his hands. Oh God. Oh God.
Miss Amy's going to try and hurry everyone out of the room. I think he just needs a bit of space. This is quite a big change.
Beck, you have quite a lot of work to do.
Shall I leave him with the drone? It might be better if he's with another one of his
Don't leave him
kind.
with something he can throw.
Another one. Oh my God.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Another one of my. And he just kind of tries to kick it out and realizes his leg is either too short or too long than what it should be. Oh my God, my feet have treads.
Should we
Beck,
just?
Beck,
should
you
we-
gotta put me back, man.
Should we
You
leave you
gotta
some
put
time
me back.
to? We'll just leave you some time to defragment, so you can process this.
Pick up Vec, walk him out of the room before he does any more damage.
I don't understand what all these tech talk. I mean, come on. Oh my God.
So, for the next 6 or 7 days that you're stuck in the drift
Still there. Oh my God.
on the way to Apostay, Vec, you spend most of your time repairing the damage that's been done by the drift leeches and the damage that was done by the EMA and the various bow surges that were forced through the ship.
While I'm doing all that, I'm muttering and moaning under my breath. constantly the whole time and smoking lots.
I won't make you do any rolls. We'll just say that you spend a little bit longer. You can take a 20, make sure all the repairs are done. You can fabricate some spare parts if you wish. I'll say that you, Masomi and Kajimi, spend time with the EMA. You bring them up to speed on what the current mission is, where you're going and why, and what you've been doing for the past 6 months. And then, unless there's anything specific either of you want to do, we'll say that we arrive at Apostay and you enter into orbit around the planet.
I would like to console EMA. I'll go over to him and put my hand on his shoulder and go, there. And then leave.
I don't even know who that is, man.
Would you like a nut?
Do I have a mouth? Oh my god, do I have a mouth or is it like a light? I don't know. Oh my god.
Yeah, just push it in. You can sit there.
Would you like a nut, or do you prefer a bolt?
Oh my god, man.
Wow. There's just another turn of the screw there, wasn't it?
So,
are we done hammering that one, or shall we move on?
The journey comes to an end. You fall out of the drift, enter into stationary orbit around Apostay. EMA, you find some familiarity and some comfort in operating the vessel again as its pilot. It's good to feel something familiar in all the strangeness and disruption and frustration you feel about your current situation. Operating the vessel and doing what comes naturally is a good remedy to those feelings. Apostay from space is a nondescript planet. It's almost moon-like. It's covered in craters. There is very little life on the surface. Life exists below the surface in a series of caverns and natural cave structures, as well as those that have been man-made, or indeed drow-made, because the population of Apostay is drow. The AI that you connect to when you get into orbit is abrupt and demanding in terms of computers. It instantly wishes to know why you are here.
Kajimi, would you like to?
Sure. I look at my notes. Was I given instructions on what to say? Or am I supposed to just glare at it hard? I am prepared to glare.
Your contact on Apostay is Taos.
Now?
Yeah. So.
All right. Am I supposed to mention that to the AI?
Yes, you are. Yeah. You have to state your business. So you need to inform the AI, and you can do this either through typing it in or saying it over the intercom. Depends on whether you wish to reveal the name of your contact to the other three or not. It's up to you.
All right. Can I do it with an intimidation check by growling it into the microphone?
You can, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to make an intimidation check, growling it. 13. We're here to see Taos, you wretched piece of garbage. Let us land, or there will be hell to pay.
It doesn't respond.
Golden ones.
It doesn't respond, but instantly pings you a landing platform within the city of Night Arch. So if the EMA would like to make me a piloting check, you can dock safely.
We've gotten better.
Oh yeah, I got 15 plus 17.
That's a 32. Yeah. So again, feeling familiar with the controls of this vessel, you glide it down in near perfection to the docking port. Various maintenance crew hook the temporary power in, and Vec goes through the usual process of turning the engines off and making the ship safe for being docked at planet for an extended period of time. You finally have arrived at Apostay, and you need to make contact with the person that is going to supply you with the weapons that you will transport from here to the Gideron Authority. So, Kajimi, you know that you need to find a place called the Lamashtu's Lair, which is the bar at which you will meet with Taos.
Oh,
Make
wait a second.
contact, and
Can I flip this in my mind? We're delivering them to the Gideron.
yes, you're delivering them
Oh,
to
damn! I was
Gideron.
going the other direction. I guess they paid better.
You are picking up the weapons from Taos, who is a drow weapons dealer,
Mm-hmm.
and you're meeting him in the Lamashtu's Lair. He will deliver you a consignment of 50 tons of weapons, of infinity rifles and Mark II frag grenades, and you will transport them from here to Voxa and make delivery to the Gideron Authority.
All right. I get armed for bear, just in case. Both all the pistols, all the Dushku.
Yep.
And I advise the others to do the same. This place can get a little rough. You might want to be ready for it. Is the pilot staying on the ship, or is he coming with?
You can all go. That's entirely up to the EMA.
Ah, hell no. I'm coming out there. I need to get out of this. I don't know why I'm saying it. I need some fresh air. I need to stretch my legs. Somebody give me a goddamn gun.
Do they have any goddamn guns on board?
The EMA does have a goddamn gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Miss
always
Selmy,
been
tell me
using-
you didn't. Where are my pistols? You didn't get rid of my pistols. You kept my hat, but you got rid of my pistols.
Your pistol is in your leg holster.
I know that. I was waiting for them to say it. Hey.
Been 2 weeks. I've forgotten.
What do you mean it's in my leg? I got no leg holster.
You also have a light machine gun.
Where's that?
You had a machine gun?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a machine gun.
You do have 4 arms though.
Gun. I want a machine gun.
Where is it? Back.
Think machine gunny thoughts.
Well, machine. Where? I don't know. I can't put a machine gun in. Yeah. Where's my pistol back?
Go to draw your pistol. Imagine it's there.
And then the leg opens
Yeah.
up. Wow.
Do you remember that old classic movie, RoboCop?
Alien. Yeah. You got it. Takes it out. Oh. Feels familiar. Good little twizzle. Good that.
Are we ready,
Leg-
Captain?
Goes back in.
I believe we're ready, yes.
So where's the machine gun? Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
If
Apparently
it makes
not.
if it makes you feel better, it's not in your wide flat area.
Mm-hmm. I'll check the locker. It's hanging up in the locker.
It's hanging up in the locker, yes. Yes.
I could have taken the machine gun. Damn.
Okay, so a quick query of the local net reveals that Lamashtu's lair lies about 10 miles away from the spaceport. You can hire a taxi. It will cost you a few credits, but that's probably the quickest way of getting there.
We could ride share with Spiff. With Space Lift. I'm sure
Are you
they're
sure
cool
this
with,
is safe?
all these heavily armed people getting into the back of their transports.
It's
We'll,
that
Sure,
sort of
we'll
area.
hide all our weapons so it doesn't affect your rating.
It'd be quite difficult to
Mine
hide
are
that.
just all over. You don't hide this Dushku.
So as you disembark from the boss, you'll receive a small message into your personal communication devices. It informs you that House Zizera is now charging you for the services, the air, the water, and environmental and life support systems that are currently afforded to you as part of your stay at Nyarch. You can see a small ticker appear in the corner of the communication device, indicating that it is going to cost you about a credit a day to live, to breathe the air, to be supported with warmth and all the things that you would expect to be provided naturally when living on a planet. Here in Upper Stay, it appears even the environmental systems are controlled by a large corporation, and that those living here have to pay its cost or die.
Let's make this visit quick.
Doesn't seem like the most socialist place.
Is it charging me? Because I don't breathe.
Valid question.
It is charging you.
I don't see how this is fair. I got no money. I got no body. No lungs.
The Mashti's Leia. I tell the taxi driver.
Okay.
Transport driver.
So at the cost of 15 credits, and a short while later, you arrive at the bar.
Put it on my working tab that Ainsley will pay for later.
Yep.
I'm sorry. What was this place called?
The Mashti's Layer.
The Mash too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm getting
Never heard of
flashbacks
that
the first
before.
thing on it.
Yes, indeed. That's what I thought when I read it.
I think all these worlds are connected somehow.
I believe it's some sort of dating club where Mash and Two.
Oh no. Do you want to stay outside, EMA? It might make you sad.
Stop calling me EMA. Look, I'm kind of over that. It's me. As far as I know, it's me. I never went anywhere. I went to sleep. I woke up. It's been 6 months. You tell me why I'm dead. I don't know. But Miss Omi, it's me. It's Tex. It's Cowboy. That's okay.
Okay. But you understand, you've accepted that you are now dead.
Stay to me. As soon as we get me downloaded into a brand new body, the better off we can do. If we can if somehow like Vec can download me into this piece of shit, then we'll get me a clone body or something.
So Tex, shorts for Texas, right?
Oh yeah.
After the famous instrument.
I still have my instrument. It was pretty famous, boy. Yeah.
So as you enter the Lamashtu's lair, you're met with somewhat muted conversation amongst its inhabitants. The overwhelming stench of spilled alcohol that is clearly homebrewed, and a lighting level that is low to non-existent. Although there are travellers of all species here, through orcs, half-orcs, some humans, a smattering of the other races, the majority of the people in this bar are drow. And it obviously caters to their tastes and their needs. The tables, 4 or 5 or so, spread throughout the bar, are all occupied. They are stained aluminium. People seem to be, as I say, hushed to conversations. They're nursing their drinks. They're minding their own business. It seems to be the sort of place that getting involved in what the affairs of other people is probably what would get you in trouble. So keeping to yourself is probably a good move. Across the room there is a pitted bar that runs the length of one wall. It's rusty. It's scratched. It's obviously an original relic of when this place was built. It's completely utilitarian. Stools stand empty in front of the bar. They beckon you over, being the only place to seat currently. And behind the bar is a brusque-looking half-orc who, upon your entry, eyes you curiously. strangers in a strange land obviously draw a lot of attention. What do you wish to do?
Do I know what?
I'm going to march straight up to the barkeep. I'm going to bang on the boom boom. Barkeep, give me a round of Rune Lords. We're going to cross these streams. It's damn well going to happen on my thing.
I don't know what Rune Lord is, but I'll serve you this. Pours out
Whiskey.
4 glasses of clear liquid. It smells like whiskey. It could probably take the paint off your chassis.
Okay. Come on,
Sorry,
guys.
Jimmy.
Hmm. I want to know if I knew what Talsay looked like.
Yes, you do. He's a drow, obviously.
Mhm.
I will put up a picture on Twitch so you can see. He has purplish skin, white hair, very sort of noble, well-to-do looking. That's probably the easiest way to describe it, but I will put up a picture in just 1 second as soon as I remember where the buttons are. There
I
you
will
go.
look around and see if I can see him.
So in 10 seconds you will. So that is
There you go.
Taos. You cannot see Taos currently sat in the bar, but probably wouldn't be sat out in the main bar anyway. He's the sort of person that enjoys the finer things in life, that little bit of luxury. So even if he was to frequent a place as I guess low class as this, he'd probably afford a private room.
All right. And having dealt with this level of part of society in the past, how do I find out where he is? Is this where you would talk? Who's the appropriate person to talk to? The bartender?
Yeah.
Okay. I walk up. Bartender after he gets done with the drinks.
Okay. So Kajimi approaches the bar. EMA has already demanded alcohol. Masomi and Vec, is there anything you would like to do?
I just want to make sure that Cowboy doesn't have another crisis of existence.
He appears to be placated for the moment.
Somebody just wants to look around the bar and see if keep an eye out if there's any trouble coming our way.
Okay. EMA, there are 4 glasses of clear liquid. Like I say, it smells like whiskey, but probably isn't. Probably something a lot stronger. You can drink it if you wish.
I'll hand them out to the team, and I will just kind of stand there holding it, thinking about it, but I don't drink it.
Okay. The barman walks over to you, Kajimi, after you beckoned. What do you want?
Well, I mentioned while I was talking, I reached into the pocket, pull out whatever credits I have to pay for the cost of the drinks, glancing over, seeing if I can guesstimate how much it would be worth, and said, I need to speak to Jazid.
Is this jail business? Okay.
I'm expected.
Okay.
And I'll put more credits on the table, whatever the appropriate amount is to tip the bartender for this sort of service. Once again, hoping that Ainsley is paying for all this.
He sweeps up the credits with a practiced and swift move, almost as if there was never on the bar. They disappear into a pocket, and he nods in the direction of a door, sort of towards the back of the bar. Taos is waiting for you. You're expected.
Nod in acceptance and look over at Captain and gesture with the head towards the door and head that way.
I will follow. Looking to Vec and Cowboy.
As you approach the door towards the back of the bar, it slides open silently, and within you can see a well appointed in terms of the rest of the decor of this bar. A well appointed room. There are 3 armchairs. There's a few view screens showing some sort of sporting event. And sat towards the back of the room, well, sat more sort of lounging in one of the large armchairs, smoking from a hookah, is a male drow that you instantly recognise as your contact, Kajimi. This is Taos Jarzid. He is well dressed in a long flowing red robe of some nondescript material, but is obviously expensive. His hands are bedecked with rings, and he wears a choke around his neck with a large red ruby within it. He doesn't look surprised to see you. He doesn't say anything as he takes another toke from the hookah pipe, gestures towards the 2 remaining chairs. You can sit or stand as you see fit.
I will sit and kind of just nod for the captain to take the other one.
Yep. And so we'll sit down.
He looks in your direction, Miss Amy. So, I take it you are the captain of this vessel?
Yes, ma'am. I assume you are Taos.
Yes, I am.
Pleased to meet you.
I am your contact in this endeavour. My lord Sinjin, well, he has procured your services. I'm sure you may not like that your services have been procured, but let me assure you that they pay very well. This will be a very lucrative endeavour.
So everyone keeps on telling me.
Well,
I hope it proves to be true.
we are, after all, in it for the money. My lord Sinjin, he excels in making money, so I can assure you, you will do well at this.
Do I recognise the name Sinjin?
Make a society check, please, and you can have a +2 circumstance bonus to that because of your background.
Well, that's CAC. So I do not have society.
Okay.
So that'll be a 5.
Okay. No. So, I mean, despite your background, which you have in fact rebelled against,
Yeah.
so you probably didn't pay much attention to what was going on with the
Yeah.
Calistocrat Society. No, you have not heard
Okay.
of Lord Sinjin.
Right. Okay.
I am expected to provide you with weapons. That's the instruction I've received. You are expected to provide logistical services to ship these weapons from here to Planet Voxer. Planet Voxer has recently been reincorporated, shall we say, to the Hobgoblin Empire by the Gideron Authority. They are currently quelling an ongoing insurgency due to the former inhabitants of that planet, or should we say former raiders of that planet, former plunderers of that planet, local mining consortiums that have been digging and scrabbling away in the dirt, trying to uncover all sorts of historical treasures. Well, the Gideon Authority has stepped in and said enough is enough. The Hobgoblin Empire is for hobgoblins, and they are going to quash this insurgency with our help and our weapons. They pay well, they pay on time, but they expect silver service, so to speak. You take these 50 tons of infinity rifles and frag grenades, and you are to deliver them to Forward Base Camp 1102, is my understanding. There are instructions built into the boxes. They will only be able to be accessed by the Gideon Authority at that location. So you are to take them there as quickly as you are able. Whilst they are in your custody, they are your responsibility. We are talking a sum total of 1 million credits, which will be payable by the Gideon Authority once they receive these weapons and once they have accepted ownership of them. as soon as they leave my custody. That 1 million credits is on you, my dear Captain.
Oh, obviously. Do you have any doubts that we will fail to deliver?
I have only indifference, as I know not who you are or your reputation. You've simply been employed, coerced, whichever verb you wish to use yourself, by Ainsley, a low-level but ambitious member of our corporation, so to speak. And I'm told that you come with an edge core ship, which is advantageous to us in this endeavour. We often use privateers and small independent traders, but they are often intercepted or searched more thoroughly than we would wish. With edge core, there comes a certain reputation that you're not dealing in anything illegal. So we wish to take advantage of that in this entirely legal endeavour.
Well, obviously.
Well,
Is there anything else we should be aware of for this mission?
no. I just need your signature on this contract to say you agree to take ownership of these weapons, and, well, you can be on your way.
Oh, just one more question. You said your organisation. What organisation is that?
Well, my Lord St. John's corporation, of course.
Which is?
Entirely legal.
I wasn't asking about the legality. I don't care one way or the other. I was just after the name.
Well, I don't really query my Lord St. John's affairs. It's, I have my own company, a weapons dealer. I don't really know how he makes his money, and I don't really care to ask. I just know that he is an ambitious drow who left Apostate due to the, I guess, the way that males are treated in our society. It's a shame to see him not here, but I understand his need to go off planet and seek his fortunes elsewhere. Make a name for himself, and he has done so. And through previous connections with him, I have obviously done well myself. I don't question where he gets his money from or the people he employs.
Fair enough. I always find these things interesting.
If you ever get the chance to meet him, you can ask him yourself. But
I will.
I won't reveal things that might be secret.
Okay. Well, I think that would be it. Maybe check the cargo before we sign. Not that I think that you would do anything to affect it, but it's always good to know what we're delivering. Wouldn't want to get there and find that we've got a load of lingonberries rather than frag grenades.
Okay, we can arrange that. I will deliver the weapons to your vessel. I will meet you there after they've been unloaded. I will unseal one case. You can inspect the weapons and we will exchange contracts.
That sounds fair.
Where is your vessel located?
It is parked at wherever it's parked.
Yeah, you hand over the landing pad number at which port you're at. He makes a few calls on his communications device and makes arrangements for the weapons to be delivered. I will see you in a few hours. The weapons will be delivered shortly. I suggest you make your way back to the vessel and arrange for them to be unloaded. As I said, I will arrive. We will inspect one case of weapons, and if it is to your liking, then you can accept custody and move on with the delivery. So you may leave the bar now. You can head back. Cost you another 15 credits in a taxi. And within a few short hours, a team of 6 orcs turns up with several cases containing rifles, smaller boxes containing what you presume to be grenades. They proceed to unload the 50 tons of weapons, installing them around the cargo holds to distribute the weight. You can either assist in this or leave them to get on with it themselves. It's up to you. Either way, about 6 or 7 hours later, Taos Jazid turns up. He boards the vessel and plugs in what looks like a small key into one of the crates. The box unlocks. The screens turn from red to green, and with a hiss, the top of the crate hinges back, and you can see within several infinity rifles. They are, clearly weapons. So, Captain, do you accept the exchange, or do I ask my men to unload these weapons?
No, I'm satisfied with what you say they are.
Then I suggest you sign here.
Yep.
This is you now, as I explained, accepting ownership of this 1 million credit consignment, and that you are now responsible to deliver this to the Gideon Authority on Voxer at Forward Base Camp 1102.
Yes.
Okay. I
Will be
take it
done.
you sign the preferred tablet.
Yeah. Doing my scribble or whatever it is.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know you, but this has been painless, I suppose, in terms of business deals. I have made my money, and that is all I really care about. I wish you luck, and I hope we all make this a profitable affair. For now, the weapon's yours, and you have your destination. I understand that this Kasatha here, Ainsley's colleague and employee, will find his own way back from here to Akiton. The weapons and yourself, I hope, arrive in one piece. You have arrived here somewhat later than expected, but your ship seems to be worthy of the transport.
Thank you.
Kajimi, I believe your name is. Please come with me. We will
Of course.
arrange shipment back to Akiton.
Jimmy, it's been a pleasure traveling with you.
It's been enjoyable. Good luck, and know that now the hard part is beginning. I'm going to
Indeed.
miss all the fun.
You sound disappointed.
Yes, I do.
You're welcome to accompany us if you want, but clearly Ainsley has other plans for you.
Yes, it seems to be out of my hands.
Well, until our paths cross again.
May your water stay clean until such times.
And yours.
And I'll eat a nut as we walk away.
Later, little one and strange cowboy robot. I'm sure he'll come again. Run
I've
across each
still got a weird feeling. I just want to cut off his fingers. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know.
We'll work on it, cowboy.
See you next time, Space Cowboy.
I believe that's how you
Tips
have
his hat. Howdy, partner.
So as Taos and Kijimi depart, you make the ship flight ready, eventually taking off, reaching orbit, and then plotting course for Voxer.
And
But now you... Sorry, go on.
When somebody pulls a face once the door's closed, I'm like, I hate people that like that. I got away from people like that talking about the drow. What's that prophet? Ugh. Is that all he cares about? Just kind of muttering to herself.
So you make your way to orbit, and thanks to the newly arrived cowboy, the plotting of stellar courses and paths through the drift is now left to him to do. He takes his time, again becoming familiar with the systems and operation of the starship. You eventually enter the drift and you make your way to Voxer, and we will pick up what happens next week.
Yay!
We will finish there for the evening. So thank you very much, Tarek, for joining us. Thank you for playing Kachimi.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you,
It's been
Eric.
great fun.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank you
man.
for having me.
That was a
Yeah,
bit.
it's
That was a
really
bit
good.
weird. You created one of the co-creators for Men's Baranzan, and then you met Space Drow.
Can't keep us out. Drow are everywhere.
Yeah.
It was
It was a lot of fun.
it was
I
weird
hope
when
you
read
have
your
other
initial-
good guests coming in to help you against all the other things they're going to try to take your million credits worth of weapons that you're carting around, which obviously no one knows about.
Clearly, no one knows. It's very top secret.
So if history plays itself out as it does in Rune Lords, obviously
It's
next
screwed.
week's guest is going to try and screw you the pooch.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's going to happen continuously after that.
Yeah. Watch out for Justice Ironbriar in space form.
Oh, I didn't get to screw them over.
Oh, it's fine. We've had guests in Rune Lords that have come back and screwed us over after seeming fine. There's plenty of opportunity.
Yes, there is. Yeah. Right, so we'll wrap up there. So thank you, Eric, and thank you again to Beeling Grim for supporting this channel. Tomorrow
Thank
evening, please tune in for Joe running Avernus, episode 4, I think.
I think it's going to be a good one tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. So please tune in for that. War Badger on Sunday, and the continuing tale of 3/4 men painting their army in preparation for or painting their lists, I should say. That's the correct terminology, isn't it?
Yeah. We've got there's some rules changes that have come out this week, that will be going over tomorrow.
Okay.
Sunday, sorry, and how they've changed everything, and how Dave's got to write yet another list.
And then on Monday we have our Technique special, so stay tuned over the weekend for what that's going to be. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. And then on Thursday we have our continuing Rune Lords saga, the final chapter, as we make our way through Jin Celeste, hopefully, or get to Jin Celeste, and try and find Kurzog.
Hopefully,
or
don't
just
suffer
get him
any more
wiped
con
out.
damage.
Yeah. Or just get him wiped out before we get there. Either way,
Probably that one.
It's coming to an end soon. All right, so thank you very much. Thank you for playing, and we'll wrap it up there. So good night, and I will sort out a
bye.
raid.
Night.
Great night, everyone.
It's all right.
Bye.
See you later.